This is Unit 2, Lesson 11, Adding and Subtracting Functions, and the objective is students will be able to add and subtract functions. Let's start by looking at function addition. Function addition occurs when you combine two functions together. In function notation, it would look like f plus g of x equals f of x plus g of x. So that's saying that we are taking the two functions f of x and g of x, and then we're combining them together into one thing. In simple words, we're adding by combining like terms. The other operation that we're going to look at today is function subtraction. In function notation, this looks like f minus g of x equals f of x minus g of x. So we're taking these two functions, f of x and g of x, we're subtracting one from the other. In simple terms, you subtract by distributing and then combining like terms. So the big difference between the two of them is that on one of them you have to distribute, the other operation you don't have to distribute. And I will emphasize that again as we go through our examples. Let's start with an example of function addition. In this first example, we are looking at function addition, and the question is, if f of x equals 3x plus 2 and g of x equals 2x minus 7, what is f plus g of x? My first step is to list the functions with the operation. The operation that we're talking about is addition because it says f plus g. So I'm going to start out by listing function f. So f plus g of x equals, function f was represented with 3x plus 2. So I'll start out with 3x plus 2. Now over here in function notation, it tells me we're going to do function f plus function g. So the operation is going to be addition, and then I list function g. Function g is represented by 2x minus 7. So I took function f, 3x plus 2, plus, I did a plus, function g, 2x minus 7. The next thing I'm going to do is clear the parentheses. So I still have f plus g of x, but over here on the other side, I'm going to rewrite everything, but I'm going to leave out the parentheses. So we just have 3x plus 2 plus 2x minus 7. Next, let's identify and combine like terms. So a like term is a term that has the same variable and exponent. Right here we have a variable of x in the term 3x. I also have a variable x here in the term 2x. And I'm actually going to redraw my circle so it goes in front of that positive. That plus sign in front of 2x is going to stick with the 2x. My other like terms are the two constants I have, the plus 2 and the minus 7. When it comes to combining like terms, let's rewrite all of this. So we have the x terms. Remember the 2x was positive. And then we have our constants. Remember the 2 was positive and the y was negative. So 3x plus 2 is going to give me 5x. 2 minus 7 is going to give me negative 5. So what I'm left with here is f plus g of x equals 5x minus 5. That was our final step to simplify what we have. So step 1 was to list the functions with the operations. I was asked to find f plus g of x, so I wrote down function f. I did the operation, plus or addition, and then function g. Step 2 was to clear the parentheses, so I rewrote everything without parentheses. Step 3 was to identify and combine like terms. I identified 3x and 2x as being like terms, and then I identified 2 and negative 7 as being like terms, and then combined them by rewriting the like terms together. So we have 3x plus 2x, and then the constants, 2 minus 7. Finally, we simplified and added 3x plus 2x to get 5x, subtracted 2 minus 7 to get negative 5. Our next example is going to be a function subtraction example. Our second example says if f of x equals 2 of x minus 3 and g of x equals 4x minus 11, what is f minus g of x? We have the same first step that we had with addition. You need to list the functions with the operations. So since I'm doing f minus g, I'm going to start by listing function f. If you look up above, you'll see that f of x equals 2x minus 3. Next, I need to do my operation. It's f minus g of x, so I'll do a minus symbol. And then function f minus function g. Well, if you look up above, you see that function g is 4x minus 11. So I have f minus g of x equals 2x minus 3 minus the quantity of 4x minus 11. The next step is a little bit different. We're going to get rid of the parentheses, but we can't just get rid of them. When we were doing addition, we just rewrote it without parentheses. Now when we clear the parentheses, we have to distribute the negative. And when I say the negative, I'm talking about that minus, or the minus 1 that we have. Anytime you don't see a number multiplying something, that thing is being multiplied by 1. So when we don't see a number out here in front of the parentheses, we know that there is really a minus 1 in front of it, or negative 1. So I'm going to take that negative 1 and do negative 1 times 4x, and then negative 1 times negative 11. So I have function f minus g of x equals, I can drop the first set of parentheses because there's no negative or no minus in front, and then negative 1 times 4x becomes negative 4x. Negative 1 times negative 11 becomes positive 11. Notice that that went from being a positive 4x to a negative 4x, then from a negative 11 to a positive 11. Next thing I'm going to do is identify and combine like terms. And really the rest of this is going to be the same as the rest of our first example. So we have 2x and negative 4x, and then we have the constants negative 3 and 11. Those are the like terms. When we combine them together, we have f minus g of x equals, the x terms are 2x minus 4x, and the constants are negative 3 plus 11. Same as the last example, we're going to finish it off by simplifying. So we have f minus g of x equals 2x minus 4x is negative 2x. Negative 3 plus 11 is positive 8. Realize that I'm only adding things or subtracting the things that are like terms. So if I do function f minus function g, or f minus g of x, I come out with negative 2x plus 8. And that is how you add and subtract functions.